Right when you have some extra capital, that's when you should hire. The more you reinvest, what you're doing is freeing up your time. And I wish I realized that before I even started hiring. What moves the needle forward, and is this something a CEO would do? When should you have your first hire for your agency? Well, I got the answer for you because I made so many mistakes when I first started hiring. I'm gonna make this video so you avoid making all these mistakes and learn from what I did wrong. So I've shared this before, but I was a one-man team for a while. Got to a point where I was making a good amount of money and I started hiring people. And again, the first people I kind of hired, they were not skilled at emails at all. If anything, they were just guys that were willing to work for me for a price, and I had to teach them emails. Mistake number one, you always got to hire someone with some sort of experience, right? They don't need to be 100% skilled, but they should know what's going on. So, they can actually understand what you're actually doing and how to help the clients. Number one mistake I made, hiring people that don't know what's going on. Number two, I should have hired sooner because I was making money. I was making a good amount of money. I had some clients, but I was a one-man team. Big mistake. Right when you have some extra capital, that's when you should hire. The more you reinvest, what you're doing is freeing up your time. Here's what I've learned for hiring, by the way. You hire for two reasons only: to buy back time, and you hire to make more money. If the person you hire doesn't do that for you, you don't hire, period. You hold it down until that can happen, because there's the other side where you just start spending money unwillingly on just random things, right? So for me, I should have been reinvesting and hiring someone right when I was making 5 figures profit a month. First thing I should have hired is, what is it that's taking majority of my day, right? So for me then, it was doing the emails itself. What I wanted to focus on at that time was selling, because that's how we make money. If I just want to focus on selling and I can't because I'm doing the emails myself, that means I need to find someone for that. That's what I did. I hired some people to, do the emails for me. They weren't the best, they weren't skilled, and plus now, we kind of even break it up. So is it the copy side of thing, the design side of thing, the strategy? For me, I was okay with writing copy. I like copy. I'm a really good copywriter, but design wasn't my strong suit. I got someone that could design the emails for me. Even if I still did everything else, the account management, the strategy, I had someone do the design for me. And again, I should be doing this right when things get chaotic, right when I have 4 clients and I have to write emails for all of them. That's when I should have been hiring. And that's when you should start hiring as well, is once you start getting overwhelmed and once you start seeing that your day-to-day calendar is just filled with you having to do work. And there's going to be a phase where you're going to be working in the business. And I'm not saying everyone should, right away make some money and then hire people to be working on the business, not in the business, because you can overdo that as well. You can overdo that by hiring people you don't need, right? I think back to 2 concepts. 80-20 principle. I have this thing called a CEO task list, right? So the 80-20 principle is basically a principle that talks about how 20% of the things that we do brings 80% of the results. So you as a CEO need to understand what that 20% task is. So at that phase in my life when I first started hiring, for me, it was to do more sales. The other 80%, I had to hire someone, right? I had to hire them. I had to hire from wherever to fulfill that 80% of the work that's important, but only brings 20% of the results. And the second thing is CEO task list. So I actually write down what I'm doing day to day for my business. At the end of the week, when I have all these tasks listed up, I go, okay, what moves the needle forward, and is this something a CEO would do? If I seen that I was editing a video, it's not something a CEO does. If I seen that I was having to review copy for clients' email to go out, right now at this point, it's not a CEO task, right? Maybe it is for you right now because you're not at that stage where you can have many team members. For you, decide, okay, out of all these tasks that you're doing, what's taking up most of your time? Get someone to do that for you so you can focus on income producing activities at the end of the day. So that's when you should first hire. When things get chaotic, you are having to do things at scale that you don't want to do and that you're not the best at. And also tasks that is taking you away from what's important. You want to outsource those things right away. So specifically for email agency, if you're a good copywriter, man, just continue doing the copywriting. If you're a good designer, continue doing that. But if you are like me, that was not the best at designing, I'm outsourcing that right away. If it's copywriting for you, you're outsourcing that right away, right? I'm thinking sales is the last thing you outsource, but even for me, like I focused on outsourcing and delegating and hiring for the fulfillment before I even thought of the sales side of things. The sales side of things, I didn't even delegate and outsource a couple years down the line. And this is a mistake I see a lot of people making when they just try to outsource sales right away because it's hard. Trust me, guys, you're not going to get a lot of leads and close a lot of sales if you outsource that side of your business right away. That's a mistake that I made that you need to learn from. And again, the first person that you hire, you want them to be able to be skilled enough where they can take whatever you're doing out of your hands and do it properly. Yes, it's going to take some time for you to train them. Yes, they're going to make mistakes, and that's going to be part of the process. And in the beginning, I've noticed a lot of entrepreneurs, they also have this crutch where they cannot let go, they cannot delegate, and they think, oh, why should I delegate? I can do this myself anyway. And that's the stupidest mindset to have, because yes, it's true, you can do it yourself, but again, going back to the 80-20 principle, you want to be focusing on the 20% tasks that bring 80% of the results. Even though you can do the 80% task, you're never going to grow if you're always going to be focusing on doing these, because your time is going to be consumed by just maintaining instead of focusing on activities that bring upon growth. It's going to take a little bit time for you to train someone in the beginning. It's going to be hard. There's going to be friction. Leading team members and hiring team members, a whole nother skill and a whole nother world in itself. And again, we'll talk about the other details of hiring in the next coming videos as well, but this one is more about your first hire, how to navigate that. You want to get this person, you want to train them well, but anything that you're training them on, you want to document as well, because worst case, they leave, you have to train someone else. At least you have videos that can actually, help them get up to standard faster than having to do one-on-one call all the time. But speaking of one-on-one call, especially with your first hires and the people that you're building a business with, you need to put attention to them. You need to coach them. You need to actually make sure that you're pouring energy so they are as good as you, if not better, because at the end of the day, the people that work for you are a representation of you, right? And I wish I realized that before I even started hiring, because again, I was making capital. There was actually once where one of my team members made a mistake for my client and I had to pay out of pocket, right? Because no matter what mistakes your team makes, you are going to have to take responsibility, and it's on you at the end of the day. Really just taking the time to make sure that they're skilled and they do things right, because if they don't, it's going to mess everything up. And the concept of hire slow and fire fast is too, because you want to hire slow because you want to make sure whoever you're hiring is up to your standards, has the same values as you, is meeting all these things that you're looking for at the end of the day. And second as well, you want to, if they make a mistake and they're continuously making mistakes, you want to let them go right away. You do not want to be attached, right? And I think it starts with that, like same thing we've talked about in all these other videos. Is like, okay, for your first hire, what kind of person are they? Are you looking for? You got to get very detailed and deep on what kind of person you're looking for, what responsibilities they will be taking care of, what their day-to-day will look like, what their schedule will look like. Goes back to the same thing I said in the client retention, but it's like now team communication is like setting the expectations straight, because you want to make sure that they know what you got going on. Because especially with the email agency, like, for example, I remember when I was hiring in Q4, I had to let people know, yo, listen, you might be having to work overtime, and hope you're okay with that, because you don't want that topic to come up when, it's time to work overtime, right? So whatever you're looking for in that person, be very specific on it. Do many interviews. Don't be just okay with one or two people that are okay, that are good enough. Like, no, genuinely do interviews, understanding that they're a representation of you. Take your time hiring this person. Understand that it's going to be a process. Understand that they're going to make mistakes. What I even tell a lot of my new hires is like, you're going to make mistakes and that's fine, but what I'm not fine with is you repeating mistakes, right? So whoever I hire, they know, okay, what they got to do, how it's going to work. And you as a leader need to make it so it's easy for them to do whatever they have to do for you. At the end of the day, hiring is not just, okay, I hired you, do the thing now. It's like, you got to monitor it. You got to make sure it's up to standards. You got to be a leader and make sure that whatever they have to do, if they have to go from A to B, you got to make sure that's easy as possible for them, to go from A to B. You don't want them to go A and then go all the way around to go to B. That's on you if they make that mistake a team makes. You got to always look at you and go, okay, where did I mess up here? Where could I have taken responsibility and being better so I can solve this and make sure this doesn't happen? Because you can place the blame, but again, it's on you, right? And train them well. It's going to be part of a process. It's going to be a bit shaky. You're going to have to be okay with giving up control, them doing what they got to do. And you might have to micromanage a little bit. You might have to overlook them, but it's fine. It's part of the process. But whenever it is time to hire, first look at what you're doing and what's taking up your time, preventing you from doing the things that matter. Second, really define what this person looks like, right? And what the standards you have for this person are. What's their day-to-day responsibilities? Third, hire this person, train them, understand that it's a process. And fourth, it's just rinse and repeat with the other team members as well, right? If you start off with a designer and now you need an account manager, get that. Same thing like I was saying, right? Now you need a designer, same thing like I was saying. And maybe we'll have a whole nother video on what my hiring process exactly looks like, how we go from even contacting someone to hiring them and what their first 30-day looks like, the different structure. If you guys want that, let me know as well. But again, this video is more about just, okay, your first hire and how to navigate that. Hopefully this video helped, because I know there's a lot of different gems that I said in this video, regarding your first hire, how to think about it, who to hire, how to even train them and all. Hope you guys really enjoyed this video. If you guys have have more questions, you want me to go deeper into this, couple things, guys. If you guys want my one-on-one mentorship, book a call below. Otherwise, we have a free Discord. We also have a $47 course that shows you how to, do this. If you don't want our one-on-one mentorship, we try to make our course available to anyone, so it's only $47. And yeah, again, if you guys have any questions, please leave them below. But that is it when it comes to hiring your first person, getting your first hire. I made a lot of mistakes. I hope you guys don't make the same mistakes as well. Hiring untalented people, hiring people that don't fit your standards, not being the best leader by not communicating what they need to do well, hiring slow and firing fast. So these are only some lessons when it comes to hiring. We're gonna make so much more videos in this series regarding that. Hope you guys enjoy this video. Like, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye-bye.